Welcome back. This is the 19th House Take on Sports. First of all, let me say thank you to the 6 or 7 people that have really pushed me to not let this thing sit on the shelf. I apologize for the long layoff. It's been the holidays, and I kind of did a lot of traveling. Went to a wedding, went and saw my sister and her new baby, went and saw my mom, went and saw friends, went and saw some football, went and saw some hockey. So anyway, we're back to it. And this week we're going to talk about college football, the Baseball Hall of Fame, the San Diego Mount Rushmore sports, our Player of the Week, and finally our Mascot of the Week. So this week we saw Alabama beat Notre Dame 42-14 in the national championship game, which, by the way, was not even close as that score indicates. And that's the third time in the last 4 years that Alabama has won the national championship. I don't see it slowing down at all. I can't see a scenario unless Nick Saban he just forgets how to coach, doesn't bring the right players, and just loses all passion for college football or for coaching. Next year, going into 2013, we have a good amount of teams from the SEC that are probably going to be competing for the national championship, at the very least the SEC championship, and possibly top spots in the top 10 and also the top 5. My top 5 going into next year, number 1, obviously Alabama. Because of Coach Saban, they have A.J. McCarron coming back and C.J. Mosley in the defense, and you still have T.J. Yeldon there. Eddie Lacy's probably going to go pro. Amari Cooper is wide receiver. They have 3 of the top 10 running backs coming in out of high school next year, and still have Justin Fowler and D. Hart coming back, and the defense is loaded. They lose very little on the defense. Number 1, Alabama easily. Number 2, Texas A&M. And I'm not really sure I wanted to put Texas A&M at number 2. Not because I don't think Johnny Football is all that he has been this past year, but I wonder if he can compete, or not compete, but he can actually replicate what he did this year, next year. He's losing his left tackle, which is one of the best in the country. He's declared for the draft, Luke Joeckel, hopefully I'm saying that right. And his offense coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, has left to be the head coach at Texas Tech. Kevin Sumlin, I think, will still get everything he can out of that team. The defense is getting a whole lot better, and they are recruiting like crazy right now. So we'll see. Number 3, Oregon. Chip Kelly just keeps pushing that machine and keeps pushing and pushing. Marcus Mariota, the quarterback, the sophomore next year, is only getting better, and their offense is out of this world. The question remains their defense in the Pac-12. I don't think it's a big deal though. Number 4, Ohio State. Urban Meyer this year went 12-0. Now my theory on that is they played loose. They had nothing to play for. And we'll see going into the next couple of years when they start getting a chance to play for the Big Ten Championship and ultimately a national championship again, how that's going to work out. I think next year they're going to be okay. He's recruited really well, and he's got the most other players he's gotten there. Braxton Miller, the quarterback, very athletic, and I think he can get around and make a lot of plays. And I think they'll compete for a Big Ten Championship next year. Stanford, number 5. Stanford is too well coached, offensively, defensively. They have a lot of very good skill players. And I think they're just starting to peak. So I think you're going to see Stanford there in a long time. And Pac-12 right now, they don't have a whole lot to keep Oregon and Stanford out. SEC. The SEC has won 7 straight national championships. That's a pretty amazing number, and I don't see it stopping this year. I see them winning an 8th. Could be Alabama, could be Texas A&M, Georgia, South Carolina, even with Jadeveon Clowney coming back, and not even having Marcus Lattimore. I don't think it's a big deal. And quite possibly LSU, although they lose a lot of defense, Les Miles still recruits and still coaches like crazy down there too. Next, on Tuesday, the Baseball Hall of Fame had their vote, and they voted in no players this year for the first time since 1996. And that's pretty incredible considering all the names that were available to be voted into the Hall of Fame this year. First-time players kind of led the ballot this year. Okay, Craig Biggio. First of all, you need 75% of the vote to get in the Hall of Fame. Craig Biggio came the closest, 68.2. I think ultimately Craig Biggio will probably get in next year. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think they proved their point that he'll be in next year. Mike Piazza was next up, 57.8% of the vote, and ultimately he'll get in within a few years. But the telling sign are the so-called cheaters: Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa, guys like that. Barry Bonds, 36.2% of the vote. Roger Clemens, 37.6%, and Sammy Sosa, 12.5%. Sammy Sosa's never getting the Hall of Fame. You can bank on that. Roger Clemens and Sammy Sosa, or Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, in the next few years, if their votes don't get enough to get above 50%, they ultimately probably won't be in the Hall of Fame either. So last year on the ballot, Dale Murphy. I'm going to be a homer here. 18.6% of the vote in his last year of eligibility on the Hall of Fame ballot. I think it's a travesty for a hall that considers himself to live on the idea of integrity and honor. They have left out the man with the most integrity in baseball history, Dale Murphy, who is by all accounts the best guy, nicest guy in baseball. 398 lifetime homers, two-time MVP, back-to-back, by the way, in his early 20s. This guy was a 6-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glover. He moved positions 4 times, and because he didn't play for a championship team, he was kind of forgotten about in Atlanta for all those years. So I really feel bad, and hopefully one day the Veterans Committee still has a vote. They can put him in at a later date. Dale Murphy belongs in the Hall of Fame. Next are San Diego Mount Rushmore sports. This is pretty easy because San Diego doesn't have a basketball team, nor do they have a hockey team. Now they have a minor league hockey team, the San Diego Gulls, and as some of you know, they had a basketball team, the San Diego Clippers, before they moved to LA to become the LA Clippers. But they only had the Padres and Chargers. So I had to choose. I chose 2 guys from each team. You know, it's pretty simple. Trevor Hoffman, number 1 on that mountain. 601 career saves. Twice he was Cy Young runner-up, and he's a 6-time All-Star. And most likely he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, just not any day soon. Number 2, Dan Fouts, 10th all-time leading passer in passing yards. He's a Hall of Famer, and the guy was an MVP and a 6-time Pro Bowler himself. Next up, Tony Gwynn, a lifetime 338 hitter. The guy led the league in hitting 8 times, a Hall of Famer, a 15-time All-Star, and to boot, he's a 5-time Gold Glover. Probably one of the best pure hitters in baseball history. Last up on that mountain, LaDainian Tomlinson, the 5th all-time leading rusher, 2nd all-time touchdown guy, and holds the NFL record for touchdowns in a season with 28. That's pretty easy to put all 4 of those guys on that mountain, and that was probably my easiest one yet. Next, our player of the week, Lionel Messi, the soccer player. Some of you know who he is, and for those of you that don't know who he is, you need to go out and read about him and find out who he is. He is the greatest soccer player in the world, quite possibly one of the greatest of all time, if not already. Back in December, and this doesn't make him player of the week, back in December, he broke the international record for goals scored in the season with 91. But just this past week, he was named Player of the Year, International Player of the Year. What's important about that, it was his 4th award. Nobody's ever won it more than 3 times. And on top of that, he's only 25 years old. Look him up, Lionel Messi, spelled like Lionel, M-E-S-S-I. And finally, this is kind of an ode to the Sacramento Kings. Our mascot of the week, Slamson the Lion of the Sacramento Kings. We just found out this past week that Sacramento is in the process, that the Maloof brothers are in the process of selling the team to a team of businessmen from Seattle, and as soon as next season they might move to Seattle and become the Seattle Supersonics again, getting their basketball team back. So, sadly, I give this mascot of the week, Slamson the Lion of the Sacramento Kings, to you because the Sacramento Kings here shortly will no longer be an NBA team. I want to say thank you very much to those people that pushed me to get back in here and doing this again. I apologize for the layoff. I also apologize that the sound quality isn't what it should be, the video quality isn't what it should be, but hopefully you still enjoy it, and if you do, please let me know. Leave me a comment, like it on YouTube, tell me about it on Facebook, Twitter, email me, message me, it doesn't matter. And if you really like it, please share it. Share it with everybody on Twitter, please share it with everybody on Facebook, and hopefully one day the right person will see this and like it as well. So again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.